Thank you very much. Thanks to Rebecca for inviting me here today and for putting my story, The Caller, into issue 6. It's one of the first stories that I wrote, and it is one of my favourites, so thank you. This story is written about a real place in Merthyr, just at the top of the valley, at the heads of the valleys, and it's not a place that I recommend you visit. The name of the story is The Caller. Marlin James lived alone in a modest home, which was really no more than a small, rough, greystone cottage. It sat perched on top of a heavy mound of brown gorse and rock at the summit of Idrus, a dreary hillock situated between two townships at the edge of a frozen mountain range. James was a happy, generous man, but the location of his home rarely allowed him the pleasure of receiving visitors. One night, James heard a solitary knock at the door. Outside, the evening was as black as pitch, but the sky was embossed with thick grey clouds which drifted silently across the dark sky and sliced the pale moon in half as they moved. James had been sitting at his fireside when the knock came. It was an unexpected but not unwanted disturbance, and James moved from his armchair to greet whoever was calling for him. Leaving the chains attached to his door, James opened the door slowly and looked out into the night. In the darkness, he could see the emaciated frame of what looked to be an elderly woman, wrapped in a threadbare, dark red shawl, which billowed slightly in the breeze like crimson reeds on a pond, and which hung gently over her sloping shoulders. He saw her small, wet eyes were only halfway open, shining white and unblinking despite the wind, and noticed the reflected crescent of his fire in her dulled irises. The caller wrapped the shawl tighter around her head, and she pressed against the doorway as she began to speak.